Good morning. Welcome to my channel. I wanted to know, where did that title neurodiversity come from, and I came across this article. I'm on The Guardian. This is an interview, The Mother of Neurodiversity, How Judy Singer Changed the World. There she is. And this was in, let me see, where's this article dated? This article is more than 7 months old. Oh, here we go. July 5th, 2023. So about 7-8 months ago. I'm put on my glasses. In 1997, she transformed the way we think about human difference and provided a name for a burgeoning movement. Judy Singer is several thousand miles from her Australian home on a 2-week trip around the UK, which includes an onstage interview at Cambridge University and her receipt of an honorary fellowship from Birkbeck University of London. Soon after we meet, she will do a round of sightseeing, then travel to meet relatives in Hungary. Her itinerary sounds very taxing, but her tiredness is combined with the pleasure of being belatedly honored for her trailblazing work. So it's talking about where they met at the cafe in London, and she tells the story of her family in the Holocaust and in communist Eastern Europe, and about her family coming to America. And then okay. But what it says here is, but what we talk about the most is neurodiversity, the concept she quietly introduced to the world in 1997. Here we go. Nearly 30 years after she coined the term in an undergraduate thesis, it is now almost universally used and understood, an idea that beautifully captures the plain fact that autism and a range of other conditions, ADHD, dypraxia, dyslexia, and more, are part of the endlessly different ways that a human minds are wired. In doing so, it also achieves... Oh, something popped up. In doing so, it also achieves something even more powerful, implicitly demanding liberation and acceptance for people who are, to use an associated word, neurodivergent. I knew what I was doing, she tells me. Neuro was a reference to the rise of neuroscience. Diversity is a political term. It originated with the Black American Civil Rights Movement. Biodiversity is really a political term too. As a word, neurodiversity describes the whole of humanity. But the neurodiversity movement is a political movement for people who want their human rights. Well, this has gone way, way, way. You know, when we start talking about young children having the right to disfigure their body on a whim, that's not, this is what this is about. This is about the socialistic takeover of America. I was part of it, and I didn't even know. Back when my kid was going to start first grade. That had to have been in the 90s. I haven't looked at my stuff, but by his age. And I remember we went around, we wrote the senators. I think we even went to the Capitol building that, our special needs kids need to be included in the regular classroom so that the community could get used to having, special needs people around. And if I'm offending you by using the name special needs, I'm sorry. I don't know what we're supposed to call it nowadays. So, and our intention at that time was not so that they could sex change children, or that they could, give the label of special needs and disabled to anybody that can self-identify as such. And now these psychologists, oh my God, why are you people paying somebody to control your brain and tell you how to think? Antidepressants. The world there's a lot of stuff going on. I can see why people are bummed out. The answer is not chemically altering your brain. Look at the people on Kensington Street. They're chemically altering their brain too. It's chemicals. It's, different drug, but same diff. Okay. So I was telling my husband, I feel like with these new autistic neurodiverse people, when they're talking, you could just about take the word autistic out and put in transgender or put in trans man or trans woman, and it's still the same song and dance. It is still the same song and dance. Okay, here we go. Back in the 1990s, Singer could sense that movement stirring in some groups that had sprung up in the early days of the internet. What people were talking about chimed with her own history and experiences. Her apparently neurodivergent mother, Singer's autistic daughter, and a range of traits she recognized in herself. Lost my place. Oh, there we go. Oh, maybe I should be doing this. I'm going to change this up a little. To some extent, what people were discussing online was centered on their own psychologies, but it was also about wider society, the ways that it originations, institutions, and attitudes that made many people's lives all but impossible, and how those things could be changed. I've read a lot of stories about the mental institutions. I remember when I was little that people lived in the mental institutions. I had a stepsister that would go to one. There wasn't a lot of special needs people in the community. At my school, in elementary school, we did have a school for, sign language for the deaf kids. And, that slowly changed. But a lot of people that I've read that worked at the institution here, they loved it and the people were happy. So I realized it was not perfect. I also realized that things happen in nursing homes and I don't see them shutting down nursing homes all over the place. Not like the institutions. Okay, and a range of traits she recognized in herself. To some extent, what people were discussing online was centered on their own psychologies, but it was also about wider society. The ways that its organizations, institutions, and attitudes made many people's lives all but impossible, and how those things could be changed. Okay, I read that before I went on my rant. I remember now. Oh, I'm going to do this too. Singer well knew the potential importance of what she was trying to describe and giving it a name. She hoped she might somehow speed up its growth into something unstoppable. I think we're there now. I thought we need an umbrella term for a movement. And I also perceived that this was going to be the last great identity politics movement to come out of the 20th century. See, I think that refers to trans and the kids. Identity politics. And I'm not sure. Somebody enlighten me. Okay. Then there comes an unexpected reference point. It partly came to me when I saw that film Grease, she says. There was this character. What was his name? Eugene, the nerd? It was considered perfectly okay for him to be bullied and pushed downstairs and everything else. And I thought, this is not okay. This is a movement that needs to happen. She pauses. I thought, we're no longer going to be fair game. In other words, we're going to change this, and we have. Singer, who is 72, was born in Hungary to a Jewish mother who had survived the Holocaust, transported to Auschwitz, but saved from death when she was made to work in a German airplane factory. And in 1956, she, Singer's father, and their 4-year-old daughter left their native country, yada, yada, blah, blah. I didn't even finish reading this article before I started getting, like, oh, I want to make a video about this. Okay, this is why she thinks she was autistic, I guess. Oh, this was about her mom, I guess. It was like she came from another planet or another dimension, she says. And I started thinking that when I was quite young, I thought she came from somewhere where the rules were much simpler. She didn't understand our rules and she would get extremely frustrated and upset. I think I became my mother's social translator to some extent because her negativity got her in trouble. Oh my God, she'd been to the dang death camp. I wonder how long she was there before she went to work. In any case, she had no control of her own life. A troubled look flickers across her face. She had meltdowns all the time. She monologued. What she wanted to talk about was her village in Hungary and the relationships between all the people, all their life stories, and where they worked and where they lived, but not really showing any understanding of the emotional side of it. She would always segue into that if you were talking to her. That's normal. Why wouldn't a mother? I talk to my kids about my family all the time. My grandparents and doing genealogy and all that stuff. I don't know. I'm like very cautious. I'm very on guard about all of this because it makes me not, I don't know. It's just weird. Considering I've been around special needs community, all the doctors and the psychologists and the other kids in the school and all that. And, oh my God, it just makes me sick. I see every single one of their faces when I think of what these people are taking from them. I seen a video of a lady that had her kid diagnosed as autistic. I think a couple of them, because it took them 3 hours to do their homework to get a good grade. I don't think that's so unusual. That's like, that's what you do because schools, I don't agree with that. When my kid was in school, I tell you what, in third grade, math became a real problem. I was like, I'm not doing it. I went right to the school and I told the teacher, look, you're going to have to figure out something else. I'm not going to sit around and go through this. She is not understanding it. And we obviously don't know how to teach it. We're not teachers. And somehow I got her out of it. But, anyways, maybe school is pushing too much. Well, now schools are pushing the wrong thing now. When I went to grade school 50 years ago, you go to school, you cut on the line. We had an accordion teacher, so we would go to music and we'd just sing kids' songs for half an hour. There was no learning the notes. I mean, we kind of learned the notes on the line for if we wanted to sing higher or lower, but there was no test. There was nothing like that. And I just don't remember. And then when my older kids went to school, it was a lot more involved. And then Singer says she's still unsure whether her mother's behavior was down to autism, the trauma of the Holocaust, or both. But when she herself became a parent in 1987, I've been a parent longer than she has. She soon began to think deeply about the complexities of the human psychology and traits and tendencies that people inherit from their parents. So, my video's long. She goes on to talk about her daughter. Anyways, I think I've read you enough of this that you can get an idea. This thing is really long. There's no way I'm going to get through it. It's like a book. I'm going to put the link in the description, but I believe this all goes together. If you go watch some autistic adults and listen to them talk, I haven't watched a lot and I might change my mind, but it's like the same talking points, and they want to be victims. They're taking from the people that truly have special needs and cannot survive on their own. And I remember about 20 years ago, I have another stepbrother that lives in a group home and up in Portland. And I remember about 20 years ago, his dad was saying, they had a group come around the homes and tell everybody that they didn't have to stay there and they have their own money and they can go, they don't have to live there. They can do what they want. And he thought, what a terrible thing to do to people that can't make a good decision. And I'm really thinking that that's a lot of what happened to these people out on the streets. I don't know. I think that there's not a lot of people to advocate for older special needs people. When they're kids and they get diagnosed as autism, that's so that people know, let's give them a little extra help and get them to learn as much as they can before they are an adult. And so now all these adults are getting diagnosed with autism. Why? What does it change? That's what I don't understand. I'm listening to the people that I'm listening to, and I'm thinking, I just don't consider that autism. They don't have any of the odd mannerisms. that they say they do. It's very bizarre. Very bizarre. Anyways, I'm not sure what my next video is. I'll put a link to this article and I'll read some more of it too. And maybe I'll go over it again when I can condense it better. But I wanted to get my thoughts out right now. This thing is part of this socialist takeover. Look around. Open your eyes. See what's going on. Listen to the words. Watch. My husband's watching old Star Trek shows. I think they're like the ones from the 90s. Oh, man. It's like they're prepping us for this. If you listen to the language, yeah, this has been going on a while. Anyways, take care. Bye.